So, welcome to another edition of Influence, the global podcast, and I'm delighted to be having a good friend of mine, and Tom Higgins, who's the CEO and founder of Gifta. Tom, lovely to see you.
Hi, Gordon. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. It's
No,
fantastic.
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So, you've been tell us a little bit about Gifta because it's quite a fascinating brand. You've really started to hone in on the gifting market within the influencer space.
Yeah, I think it started off. My background is, I started an Instagram account back in 2015 called Out in London, and that's where my love of influencer came from. And that grew to, I think, 160 odd thousand people. And
Oh,
then I really wanted to put a focus on influencer marketing as a whole. So then I moved, I stayed actually. I went to move for a company called Tailorfy and learned more about the influencer industry. And that gave me the insight into kind of what was going on in the industry and the possibilities within the industry as well. I always had an ambition to start a company that could ultimately add value to brands and agencies. And I think when I first started out in the world of influencer, I came to realize there was lots of companies doing very similar things.
mm,
Uh, and there was a turning point where I thought that there was possibly a great opportunity in focusing on something a little bit different. And that little thing that was different was that I realized that brands were controlling output of influencers very closely on what they were doing. And I wanted to create a solution that gave the power back to the creators to allow the creators to tell their own story, their own unique ways without being controlled. And it just coincided that there was this influx of wonderful micro nano influencers that were, coming out of nowhere, and brands wanted to work with them. And then, yeah, during the pandemic, my best friend and I, Dean, my co-founder, went to school with him, and we didn't have a job, and we said to each other, let's test some things out. And he said to me, Tom, have you thought about putting multiple brands in a box and sending them out to influencers and seeding them? I said, it sounds like a lot of work, but let's give it a go. And that's where it came from, and that's where the idea started. And we very much began by just reaching out to businesses, as I say, during the pandemic. I think Manny Life Peanut Butter was our first client, and we just said to them, "Do you fancy doing this if we do it for you for free?" And they said, "Yeah, of course, let's give it a go." We gifted it out. We gifted peanut butter out to 100 influencers, and I think 98 of them posted content. And we just thought, "Wow, that's brilliant."
that is
Um,
brilliant.
we
Yeah.
weren't expecting that, so that's where it started, and that's like where we're progressing from now. And we've got a fantastic, exciting company. We've grown very quickly. We've worked with over 150 brands. We're scaling very, very quickly. And we're doing some fantastic work in the influencer seeding space now, which is starting to grab the attention, which is, yeah, really, really exciting.
Yeah, oh, that's really good to hear. Because the influencer marketing industry, although it's growing hugely, it's also quite competitive now because there's more influencer agencies and influencer platforms. But I think, as you've rightly articulated, you've gone down a very specific niche within that, haven't you? To capitalize on that. And obviously, in the early days of influencer marketing, there was a lot of talk about unboxing videos, wasn't it? Almost like you're experiencing not just the video that's been done or posted by the influencer, but that excitement of opening something. And so, do you think that has played a big part in it?
Yeah, definitely. I think firstly, it's really important to make sure that the influencer is signed up to receive a gift from you in the first place. And I know I've seen recently that there's been lots of articles on the internet about influencers with huge amounts of product.
Piles of stuff, waste. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of waste, and I think firstly, before you've even gifted to the influencer, you need to make sure that there's a match there between the two, and the influencer is prepared and willing to receive your gift instead of just sending them the gift for the sake of it, because that
Mm.
is very, very wasteful, and we don't want to do that. But to your point, unboxing is so important, Gordon. Um, the unboxing experience as a whole is the most fantastic way for you to win over the influencer as quickly and as efficiently as you can in the most incredibly exciting way. We don't when we're seeding and there's not money involved, we have this opportunity once to put something together that's really special, and we
Mm,
want that influencer to open that box and be wowed by the brand, and we want them to fall in love with the brand. And if we've got one opportunity to do that, we have to do that really well. So we spend a lot of time with the boxes that we send out. We don't just find the influencers; we do all the fulfillment, distribution, personalization of the boxes. We send them out, but most importantly, what goes into that box, making sure that when the influencer opens it, they get this connection to the brand is really
mm,
important. So we make sure that we bespoke the products that go into the box. We make sure that that they have any extra reading material so they can understand more about the product and the brand, and any kind of merchandise as well to make sure that that unboxing is super special too. So personalization. Um, and even just writing a handwritten note
I
right at
know.
the beginning, we said to ourselves, we need to win these influencers over. Um, we need to make sure that we go above and beyond to make them fall in love with us. And I think you just need to go that extra mile to make sure that they do. But yeah, unboxing is super important, super special.
And I've heard that when I've been interviewing creators, and they've said exactly that. Well, I remember when I was talking to somebody that was in a foodie uh, um, in um, in Dubai actually, and she was talking about the difference that some people make when they send you a personalized invitation to an event. It makes you feel special right at that outset. So it actually almost creates the right environment before they've even been to the event, actually. So it
Yeah.
just concurs with what you're saying. So what sort of going back to strategy as well, because off air we were just talking a lot more about this, wasn't it? It's not just about sharing a load of products with influencers. It's increasingly not more about influencer marketing play a significant part of the overall brand engagement strategy. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think strategy is the fundamentally the most important part of what we're doing. We've spent when we first started the company, we wanted to make sure that we got the fundamentals right of sending the product from A to B, getting the influencer signups, personalizing the package, sending the product to the influencer, tracking the content on the other thing. On the other side is the process from one side to another. Now we're kind of moving to like the Gifted 2.0, whereby what we're doing is we're using strategy applied with inspiration and scale in order to really take influencer seeding to that next level. So when I talk about these things with strategy, we can focus on the different audiences that the brands want to hit, the different moments and themes and times the brands want to focus on during a year, um, and the different types of messages that we want to send out to those influencers so they can engage with the brands in a different way moving forward. Inspiration is really important, but it's not just the inspiration for the influencers. It's the inspiration for the brands as well. The wonderful thing that we have at Gifter is we have thousands and thousands and thousands of nano and micro influencers. And when we work with a brand after the campaign, we can ask these influencers what they enjoyed, what they didn't enjoy,
Love that.
how would they like to connect with the brands in the future? Do they have any creative ideas or any activation ideas that they would like to work with the brand in the future as well? And then that allows us to create um, and inspire strategies for activations in the future as well. And I think that when you apply that with scale, I mean, at Gifter, we don't just send out 10 boxes to influencers. We're sending hundreds and sometimes thousands. Some of our big clients, Dove and Kellogg's, we're sending 1, 2, 3, 5,000 influencer seeding boxes a year for those particular clients. So there is huge scale there,
Mm.
which when you apply the right strategy, and you apply it with that scale, all of a sudden you get a channel that is challenging all the other marketing channels on the
Absolutely.
brand's plan as well, which is exciting.
Yeah, no, I love that. We're going to take a break now. We'll come straight back to talk to Tom in just a few minutes. Right, we're back with Tom now, and this is great what you're doing. I must admit, strategy really is the key driver in influencer marketing. Obviously, I've written a book on it. So, what are the, and you mentioned some big brands that you worked with as well, which are great. And presumably, some of those are they all going to um, different? What type of influencers are there? They're all going to consumer-led Instagram influencers or product influencers. You're not doing anything in the B2B space at all.
We're not doing much in the B2B space. It's mainly B2C. We're starting to do some testing in B2B, but at the moment the core focus is on B2C. We're fantastic at FMCG brands, cosmetics, hair, beauty. We do a lot in the food space as well. We invested very heavily in industrial fridges and freezers and insulated packaging, so we can send out lots of different types
Cold stuff.
of of cold stuff. Yeah, very much so, and we can guarantee that it's going to get delivered in the condition it needs to be delivered in as efficiently
Amazing.
as. So making sure that we do that, and we do lots in the sports industry as well, sports and wellness, trainers, equipment, and all these other wonderful things that we can give to influencers too.
And are you doing this just on the in the UK, or are you planning to move this into European or further afield?
Yeah, so we're predominantly in the UK at the moment, and what we're doing with some of our clients is we're really starting to test out into European and the US markets as well, and we're just making sure that we're kind of doing everything gradually and making sure that we have everything in
Manageable.
place to make sure it's manageable and it's serviceable at the same time as well, because there's lots of elements to what we do, and we need to make sure that we have everything in place to make sure that we drive the right strategies and efficiencies with everything we do.
Yeah. Now, because you're involving product and you're involving influencers and you're involving time and pressures, there's got to be some things that have gone wrong where you've lost some hair or you've lost some sleep. What
Yeah.
what what has been some of the nightmare situations?
Do you know what? I think with any business, Gordon, and I've said this to people over and over again, like there is many failures along the way all the time when you start a company, and as you've rightly said, when you run a company and there's lots of um, lots of moving parts within it, there's lots of opportunity for things to go wrong, and things do go wrong. Like this is the way of life. We've had all sorts of things happen. I mean, I've had 3,000 pieces of cheese arrive at the wrong warehouse. I've had soup explode in bags. I've had sauce being sent to the wrong influencers, or hairbrushes accidentally been sent to the wrong people. But do you know what? That's okay when you're doing things on the scale that we're doing them on. The key thing for us is the way in which we respond to those problems is the most important thing. And I always make the team know that actually it's okay to have mini failures in everything we do, because the reason we have many failures is because we're pushing our boundaries, because we want to be we don't want to be good. We want to be continuously great, and we want to do wonderful things for our clients. And we want to push ourselves as well. And we do understand that by doing that, we are going to make some mistakes during the way. But it means that we learn from those mistakes, and we do even better in the future.
Yeah, I love that. So equally, on a more positive note, what's one of the best campaigns that you've done that you've thought, oh my God, this is amazing?
Best campaigns. I mean, we've done all sorts. I mean, we've just sent out 10,000 toilet rolls to 200 nano influencers for Who Gives a Crap.
Oh, I
Um,
love that. That's great.
really, really good fun. We sent out thousands of cereal boxes out to hundreds of influencers for Kellogg's, which was a fantastic campaign as well. There's all sorts of campaigns that we've done. I think the Kellogg's one is exciting. We've just done one with Heinz recently when they launched their pasta sauce. Absolute and Heinz did a collaboration to launch a new pasta sauce, and we gifted their pasta sauce to 150 influencers, and we got, I think, 95% of the influencers posted, and we got 550 pieces of content. And I think 3 to 4 pieces of that content went viral. I mean, we're talking like 8 million impressions from 150 nano influencers, which is fantastic.
Oh my God,
And
phenomenal.
all of a sudden, you get to see across all of our campaigns. It's not just Heinz, it's Kellogg's, it's Dove, it's Heineken, it's all of them. All of a sudden, you get to see the influencers utilizing the product in their own unique way. So you get
Mhm.
variety. You get to see a more emotional connection between the influencer and the product than you would if you controlled the output. And
Absolutely.
the most wonderful thing is when I speak to brands after a campaign, when they go, "Wow, Tom, I didn't even know influencers or consumers were using the product in that way." That is fantastic to understand and learn. I was like, that's because you're relinquishing control and you're allowing people to be people and allow creators to create. Um, and yeah, we're just seeing the
But
most
so what you're saying, we're educate there you're educating the brands based around real insight and research, which some of them would pay normally would have paid thousands of pounds in focus groups and all sorts of intel. And you're not only getting that feedback, but you're getting people that are trialing the product. It's just such an effective mechanism. It really is, isn't it?
It's a great way to learn. It's a great way to understand trends, forecast what's coming up in the future, and just to sit back, watch, and learn. And I think that's the most important thing you can do as a brand. And I think brands still today try and be publishers. They're all trying to be publishers and publish their
Mhm.
own content and control output because they're used to controlling output because they used to spend so much money on TV and out of home. And they're trying to control influencers in the same way. It just doesn't work. And when you take a step back and you just let if you just give the product to the influencer and just allow them the complete freedom to do what they want to do, then the brand gets to learn and then the brand gets to win because they get to see what happens moving forward.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Amazing. Well, I mean, it's been great having a chat with you today. I really, really appreciate your time and candor about what is a really exciting company development from when you started and just having a bit more of a deep dive into the sort of gifting world. And seeing some of those results are really spectacular. So, how can people find out more about you?
Yeah, thank you, Gordon. Yeah, please feel free to drop me an email. My email is tom@gifta.co.uk. Can't get all the words out today. Um, Please go onto our website, look at all our case studies on our Instagram account, and it'd just be great to hear from people, even regardless of industry, or even if you don't necessarily work directly in influencer marketing or influencer seeding. Please drop me a message. I'd love to learn more about your brand and what you're doing and your challenges, and yeah, hopefully we can cross paths with lots of people in the future.
Great. Thanks so much, Tom.
Thanks, Gordon.